We are back here in the Metpark Sports Center for our semifinals matchup in the 25 and under division. This time it's between the St. Benilde Blazers and the St. Clair College of Caloocan Saints. And covering this game is still Cholo Panglinan alongside Ray Hoble and Andrea Veloso as our courtside reporter. And Ray, again, a 8-peat champion in the NASCO League against a young version of the CSB Blazers that we know in the NCAA.
Yeah, and Coach Paolo Layog's team. And this team is still a work in progress. On the other hand, we're seeing here a team that has established a dynasty in St. Clair. And looking at the roster of St. Clair all the way to the coaches, that you can see that these guys are used to winning. Coach Jimmy Manansala, when he was playing in the PBA, used to be a member of that great Taste Coffee squad that won multiple championships during the 1980s. And the Coach Gino Manansala, on the other hand, played for UST in the UAAP.
And you just know both teams won't back down from each other. Again, a young and hungry squad against a dynasty, to say the least. As we'll turn it over to Gio Cruz, our game announcer, for our starting five.
Very pleasant morning, ladies and gentlemen. Basketball action continues here at MetLife Sports Complex here in Pasay City as we bring you the semifinals of the Ndsl Basketball Series Second Conference 25 under division, featuring the St. Benilde Blazers and St. Clair Saints. Now let us meet the starters for both teams. First, for the St. Benilde Blazers, starting guard number 15, Matthew Hucom. Also at guard number 4, Ralph Bonikig. At forward number 24, Angelo Vanquadia. Other forward number 99, Dale Ortega. And at center number 3, Jesse Archaga. The head coach of the St. Benilde Blazers is Paolo Layog. And now let us meet the starters for the St. Clair Saints. Starting guard number 75, Ian Duancas. Also at guard number 4, Richmond Montejo. At forward number 3, Clint Panzano. Other forward number 23, Drake Acosta. And at center number 6, Mo Montiria. The head coach of the St. Clair Saints is Gino Manansala. Officiating this ball game, crew chief Jerome Kai. Upper 1, Gomer Opina. And upper 2, Ian Fajardo. And Ndsl second conference commissioner, Mr. Joe.
And the starting five, first for the Blazers, it's Balikig, Hucom, Arciaga, Vanguardia, and Ortega. And for the Saints, it's Montejo, Dumancas, Mandiria, Manzano, and their team captain, Acosta. And this should be a good one. One thing we noticed right off the bat, an FSA for the St. Clair Saints and Mo Mandiria. Of course, in the NASCO League, FSAs are allowed, contrary to the NCAA where it's not.
But well, I've been seeing some of the guys here, but they are playing in another league, not in the NASCO. But somehow you could see that they have developed chemistry among themselves.
And again, they are not a dynasty for no reason. That's going to be a traveling violation called. So almost a minute passing by chapter 1. So tasked with point guard duties is Richmond Montejo. Acosta, I believe the oldest in the team. To the left side, Montejo again. Inside to Mandiria. In and out. Ortega finding Balikig. Finds Hucom instead at the right side. The pick from Arciaga. Hukom, nowhere to go. Inside, find one Vanguardia. Hukom, fadeaway three. Off the back iron, rebound by Mo. And so far, a scoreless output for both squads. Staggered play. Acosta inside of Manzano. The bump, the attack. Manzano, not that time.
But you have to love the ball movement being displayed by St. Clair as we see Layug, Arciaga rather, unmolested inside.
Jesse Arciaga with the first blood of the game. Acosta against Ortega. To the right side, Montejo. Mandiria asking for it. He gets it. 5 to shoot for the Saints. Dumangkas attacks. Not that time for Ian. Ortega stops. As Benilde will take their time. Balikig to Arciaga for three. Not that time for Jesse.
Arciaga used to be one of those practice players of the SGA team that played in the William Jones Cup.
And no wonder considering his height.
Yeah.
Former LaSalle Green Hills Greenie as well. As Montejo drops it to Mandiria for two.
Excellent two-man game there with Mandiria rolling hard to the basket and getting a return pass.
And that's going to be difficult moving forward. I believe only Arciaga can guard Mandiria in this Benilde lineup.
Yeah.
Hukom for three. Bingo!
He's been looking for that shot a while ago, but this time it's a conversion for Hukom.
That's the first bucket of this game for Matthew Hukom. And St. Clair trying to come up with something. Acosta using that Mandiria pick. Acosta losing it. Ortega is running. But a turnover by the Benilde Blazers. Dumangkas for three. Bingo!
No hesitation, and Dumangkas able to knock down that three-point shot.
Answering back Hukom's three-pointer a while ago. As St. Clair getting a steal again. Montejo getting fouled on his way to the cup, so that means two freebies for the newbie of St. Clair. Another look on that three-point shot a while ago from Ian Dumangkas. First one is in for Montejo. Second one on its way for Richmond. Montejo, their starting guard. (7-5). St. Clair with a thin 2-point lead. Vanguardia to Hukom. Quick fire three. Short.
So you could sense that Hukom is turning out to be the primary option offensively for St. Benilde.
Indeed. Aside from, of course, Team A player Jesse Arciaga.
Oh,
Hukom getting too fancy. But they'll still keep the ball. Podador sends it out. Back inside. Give and go action won't work.
and credit the defense of Mandiria for Hukom to change that shot.
4-on-5 situation. Dumangkas for three. Won't work. Vanguardia gets it. Outside, Balikig. And Benilde will reset. Balikig searching for options. Back to Jesse. To the corner, it's Hukom. He'll score.
He was down on the floor a while ago. Could have been nursing some injury there, but Hukom able to shake off that pain and knock down that jumper.
But looks like Benilde won't foul intentionally to get a sub. Hukom will play this one out. St. Clair and Mandiria getting caught traveling without a visa.
He was holding on to his hamstring, huh? His left hamstring.
So James Eason, another former Greenie, checks in for Benilde. Same goes with Abad, another Greenie as well in that squad. A lot of former GH Greenies actually, including Rafa Romero rather, and David Cruz and Arlie Podador. We're all tied up at 7. Balikig, the right wing, hands it off to Podador. Shot clock at 10. Podador to the right side again. Balikig for 3. Won't hit. Acosta now pulls up.
Goal.
Rattles in that 3.
I think that is the second or third triple of St. Clair. I think that's the second one.
Again, that's team captain Drake Acosta for St. Clair as they gain a 3-point lead. Ison to Balikig. He'll try once again. Off the back iron. St. Clair now. Dumangkas. 5 points and counting for Ian Dumangkas. Podador.
Oh, nice one.
Beautiful dish to the open. Abad.
Attracting the defense of Mandiria and dumping it off to an open teammate there. And here's the matchup that we've been looking for against Mandiria. An equally bigger guy in Abad, who got hit on the forehead inadvertently.
12-9. Timeout called by Coach Janino Manansala. Again, that 2-pointer a while ago from Ian Dumangkas, as we'll be back for more.
Coach Paulo commends the hard work and coachable attitude of Harley Podador in his first year with the Blazers. I had a chance to talk with Harley, and he shared that growing up in Cagayan de Oro and losing his parents at an early age, basketball became his anchor. His older siblings cared for him, and they were the ones who influenced and pushed him to pursue the sport. Now, basketball has opened doors for him in many ways, especially financially, as it earned him a full scholarship with Benilde. For Harley, being an orphan was never a setback. Instead, it fueled his determination to excel and to prove to his parents, even in their absence, that he's doing his very best. Cho and Ray.
Thank you very much, Andrea, for that report. And indeed, bringing that resilience to the basketball court, that's the kind of stories we want to hear. As right now, Mandira receiving it inside. Good job for Christian Abad, doing everything in his power to stop that big Mo Mandira.
And so far, Abad has been throwing his weight around against Mandiria.
And Mandira is subbed out, so perhaps finally a chance for Benilde to take off.
And Coach Janino Manansala realizing that he needs to play some matchup with Abad. Oh,
And J.B. Lim drawing that offensive foul against Christian Abad.
it was running into a brick wall. That is Abad, and Abad had to be subbed out as well.
So Arshaga checks back in. So it's an Ison and a Hukom, I believe, backcourt for Benilde. As Lim sends it to Escobedo. Couple of new faces for St. Clair as they have 6 to shoot. Acosta looks at the clock. Backing down, he'll fade away. He will score.
Costa just powering his way there. Oh,
Stolen by Drake Acosta. 4 points in a row for the team captain of the Saints. As Ison now controlling the offense. Staggered play for Ison and company. Arsiaga asking for it. Podador, another pick from Arsiaga. He'll fade away and he'll draw the foul.
I think these guys, Ison, Podador, Arsiaga, used to play in the semi-pro league that we had several years ago. I think that was last year. No? And they had an opportunity playing there, and probably to toughen them up because they are up against grown men players.
Podador at the line. He'll go 1 out of 2. Hukom gets it back. Shot clock at 10. Vanguardia the fake. The attack against Ndsl. He won't score. 6-point advantage for the Saints. Escobedo, a couple of Hessies leading to a 2.
That was a heady play for Escobedo.
18-10. Vanguardia hands it off. Podador using that Arsiaga pick. Arley drops it to Hukom for the reverse.
That was an excellent dish and a good cut to the basket by Hukom.
And so far it has been a phenomenal game for Matthew Hukom. Under 30 seconds remaining in Chapter 1. JB Lim almost lost it, but possession stays with them. Coach Janino Manansala telling them to execute the play. Denosta to Escobedo. He's up against Balikig. Ooh, almost but not quite. But Ndsl was there, still nothing.
And you have to love the resiliency of St. Clair in getting those putbacks, but unable to cash in one. 3 sequences there, no conversion.
And you can see the dismay on Coach Janino Manansala's face.
4.8 seconds to work with.
Balikig will trigger the inbound. Arsiaga back to Balikig. Forward pass. Hukom the fake. He'll need to put one up. Good defense from Manzano. Or from Ndsl rather. As that'll do it for our first quarter. 18-12. We'll take another look on our score. And we'll be back for more. Back to the action here for some second quarter showdown. 6-point advantage for the Saints. And so far, it has been a great game for the young guns of Benilde. But let's see if they can sustain this against a dynasty in the St. Clair Saints.
And so far, St. Benilde is doing a good job, at least in staying in the game, keeping it close, and hopefully putting them in a good chance of winning one in the end game.
Indeed, if you're Benilde, that's what you want to do against a team like St. Clair. Of course, you would want to dominate, but you know, you got to give a pat on the back with the performance you're doing so far. So that time, a turnover for St. Clair. Denosta getting called for the foul.
Nah, not the wisest foul to give.
To 14. We get a 4-point lead for the St. Clair Saints, as Benilde will try to come up with something on offense. Ortega attacks. Ortega hanging midair, overcooks the shot. Denosta, the spin, the attack against Dale Ortega. He scores.
And he had to shield the ball with his body. And I'm talking about Denosta in finishing off that layup. And this time around, he capped it with a 3-point shot.
Correction, that is Jan Salazar of the St. Clair Saints, just donning a different jersey as they're leading now by 9 points. We'll take another look. Again, the first net, 2 points, putting on the moves against Dale Ortega. And in that second sequence, knocking down a 3 to make it 5 points in a row. We'll be back after this timeout. We go back to the action here, 23-14. Again, it's a 9-point gap after that 5-0 personal run from Jan Salazar. As Benilde will try to counter it. As we're seeing for the first time in action, David Cruz. Cruz now against Escobedo.
Yeah, he just lost the dribble, and they had the presence of mind of putting the pressure there. I'm talking about Escobedo. Now that they force a turnover.
So Hukom replaces Cruz after that turnover.
So we haven't seen Mandiria back in action, and it's because they are in cruise control right now, St. Clair.
So quite an interesting decision for Coach Manansala as Escobedo fades away, won't go for a 3. Podador is burning some rubber, he is running, and he won't score.
Podador was trying to start a transition, but nobody was running, so he decided to go with on his own and missing the layup there.
Indeed, and that's one of the few things that the young Blazers could learn. You know, everybody going down the floor.
And so we were talking about Mandiria not returning, but here comes Endong checking in for the first time. Probably an insurance here for St. Clair.
Yes, the junior FSA of the Saints will be playing his last year next year in Naasku. And Dong now will hand it off as they circulate the ball on offense. Loyola, he will drive, sends it inside, and Dong won't connect. And it's a shot clock violation on the Saints. So a great defensive sequence for the Blazers. Still a 9-point gap being faced by Benilde. Ison to Arsiaga. Balikig now. To the left side, Ison will fire. And he will hit from downtown.
Wide open for three. And Ison, even in the other leagues that we're seeing, he knows that he can hit that.
So lead is trimmed down to 6 points. St. Clair now with control. Salazar searching for options, using that Ndong pick. Drops it inside. Ndong to Burgos. Great couple of passes, just couldn't convert. Arsiaga inside to Ison, and a hard foul called on Salazar.
And good cut to the basket by Ison there. Caught the defense napping.
So James Ison now will shoot 2 freebies. Again, another former LSJH greenie in that Benilde roster, as he'll miss fire on that first attempt. Couple of new faces for Coach Manansala's lineup. I believe that's Hardinico and Bondok for St. Clair. Hukom, fade away. That's money from downtown.
And St. Benilde keeping the game alive because of its outside conversions, as we see a putback there coming off an Ndong miss.
That is Charles Burgos, the front court partner of Ndong at this moment. 2-possession game. Balikig against Hardinico. Balikig again, using that Arsiaga pick, stolen by Ndong. And he will take the easy 2.
Like a stroll in the park for Ndong after picking up that steal.
So it's back to a 7-point lead for St. Clair. Arsiaga inside to Balikig.
Oh, nice cut to the basket. And if that's one thing about this St. Benilde squad, is their ability to move without the basketball, and that led to easy 2 points for them.
Indeed. Expect that from a Coach Paulo Layug system. Of course, mentored by Coach Charles Chu. As Bondok will hit from downtown.
Bondok making his presence felt with that 3-point shot.
Ison, the fake, outside to Jesse. Now Van Guardia will try. That's off to the left. In transition, Burgos. Turnover called on him as we turn it over to Andrea Veloso for a report.
The Saints came in with an all-in attitude, bringing in experienced and strategic minds like Coach Jimmy Manansala. With a mostly new lineup, the coaching staff is eager not just to gauge their players' potential, but to see it on full display here in the semifinals. Veteran Babacar Ndong is just as locked in. Even though he's not expecting heavy minutes to make way for the rookies, he's been a constant voice when he's on the bench, guiding, motivating, and especially supporting his fellow import Mandiria. It's also a valuable moment for him to scout who might take his place as he plays out his final year with St. Clair. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Andrea. And indeed, you know, the presence of a PBA player in Jimmy Manansala might have an effect, or surely has an effect, on the players of St. Clair.
Oh, definitely. Of course, Coach Jimmy Manansala. We all know Jimmy has been part of the multiple champion squads of great taste. Coached nonetheless by the legendary Baby Dalupan.
And of course, Babacar Ndong playing his final year, but very generous of him to give way to the rookies as he scores.
How scary is this lineup of St. Clair?
I know. For sure, you know, their opponents in Naasco is trembling right now.
They've been practically winning every league that they have joined in.
And with the type of competition they've been facing as well. Only way is up for the boys of Coach Janino Manansala.
You have to give credit to the program built by, of course, Dr. J. Adalem. This program has been built, I think, for the past 2 decades, and they've been doing that ever since.
That's the beauty of it. Because you know there's continuity first and foremost. There's consistency in that program. Meanwhile, they try to lob it up high to Endong.
Well read by the defense of St. Benilde.
And on the side of the Benil Blazers, you know, in the bigger picture, I'm sure these guys are battling for that spot in their Team A roster.
Yeah. And so far, while this may appear as a work in progress for Coach Paulo Layog, and you could sense that there's a lot of promise in this team.
Indeed. But you know who deserves a spot in Team A? Number 15, Matthew
Yeah.
Hukom.
He's the main guy of this squad right now.
I believe only one guy really played in their Team A. That is Jesse Arsiaga.
Arsiaga, yeah.
But aside from him, no one is really has rather secured the Team A spot. So that's one thing we should look out for. Meanwhile, Endong winning that battle against Arsiaga inside the paint.
Endong, too big and too strong against Arsiaga.
Balikig to Arsiaga. Back to Balikig. Layola on him. Vanguardia stops at the elbow. Sends it to Ortega at the corner. Shot clock at 3. But the door won't hit. They're not the best offense for St. Benilde.
Yeah,
Burgos. Hardinico. No good on the 3 ball. Arlie Podador. Try that pickup move. Won't work against Sean Bondok. A great find inside to Loyola. Unselfish basketball for St. Clair.
Coach Paulo Layog not happy with that play. They didn't have the numbers, no? As we see in the slow-mo, we have Bondok faking off his man for a bucket there.
Timeout is called. We'll be back for more. We go back to the action as we have under 2 minutes remaining in our first half. Again, so far this Benilde team, not the best offense for them. They're trailing by 14, but a few bright spots, including Matthew Hukom.
Yeah, and I think they're still very much into this game. No, that they may be down by 14, but they have shown some aggressiveness in cutting down this big lead.
Indeed. And they have to find other options outside the said gunner. And that time it's Angelo Vanguardia.
Coach Vanguardia, the nephew of veteran coach Ariel Vanguardia.
Under a minute remaining in our second period. Good defense from Arsiaga that time. Podador almost losing it.
Yeah, and again, Podador had to slow things down. He's been turning the ball over a lot in this play.
And he actually did against the defense of Babacar Endong. I mean, who wouldn't be intimidated by the presence of that guy? Timeout called by the Saints. They're up by 11 points as we'll be back for more. Back to the action here. St. Clair holding this 11-point lead. And so far, yes, too early to say that Benil is out of this one. But they have to find again other options outside their usual ones in Jesse Arsiaga and Matthew Hucom.
Podador was taken out of this game. This is because of two ill-advised decisions. He was trying to start a fast break, but they didn't have the numbers. And for past few sequences, he had been turning the ball over.
Bundok outside. Loyola has it. The pick from Burgos. Vanguardia against Charles Burgos. The fake. Beautiful move.
Yeah. He lost the ball momentarily, but able to regather it.
And with that, it's a 13-point lead as Balikig is struggling. And he'll draw the foul.
They still have one more foul to give. So only 4.3 seconds left before we go to our halftime break.
So a two-man substitution for Benilde. Kua and Podador entering. Gavin Kua seeing action for the first time this game. The former Xavier Stallion. Balikig will try to beat the buzzer. And that does it for our first half. 38-25, a 13-point deficit being faced by the Benilde Blazers as we'll take a look at our move of the game. This fake and step-through move a while ago.
That's what I'm saying. He lost the basketball momentarily, but able to regather the basketball.
And that's what you like to see from a big man. And we'll be back for more. And at the half, it's 38-25, a 13-point difference. St. Clair in the driver's seat. And again, a very inconsistent outing in that first half for the Benilde Blazers. Their contributors, only perhaps two guys in Jesse Arsiaga and Matthew Hucom. So that's something to take note of if you're Coach Paulo Layug. But if you're St. Clair, again, Babacar Endong has been phenomenal. A couple of contributors in Ndsl. But, you know, you would want more.
Of course. And at this time, St. Clair, for them, there's no turning back. On the other hand, St. Benilde is trying to draw closer and at least give them a chance to win, put them in a better position to win.
And in that first half, Matthew Hucom scored 10 points, 4 out of 8 shooting. Good for a 50% first half outing, so that says volumes. But again, they have to help him out.
Yeah, and then look at the points in the paint. Advantage for St. Clair. You have 24 to 8, and then the points coming off turnovers 22 to 3. And then that has been telling so far.
So that's another area of concern for them, as Mandiria will score easily inside.
Obviously, he has the length, he has the size, and he has the capability of putting it back. Mandiria back in action, immediately making his presence felt.
So it's now a 15-point deficit being faced by the young Blazers. Arsiaga inside, that's too strong. He was looking for a foul.
And again, battered by the defense of Mandiria. Oh,
Stolen by no other than this guy, Matthew Hucom.
oh, he babied the shot. And had the presence of mind to recover. And look at Hucom again, holding on to his hamstring.
Perhaps the reason he missed that in the first place. But nevertheless, he got the 2 points. Acosta using that Mandiria pick. Double team on him. Mo inside. Short. A shot clock violation against the St. Clair Saints.
Automatic violation as the shot didn't hit the rim. And this is the stop that St. Benilde is looking for.
13-point deficit. Balikig has seen significant minutes in this game, by the way. You know, Coach Paulo Layug has that trust in him, despite not really scoring a bunch. 3 to shoot. Balikig will attack. He won't finish though. Two minutes passing by chapter 3. So far, St. Clair still in the driver's seat of this game. Dumangkas to the right side. Montejo. 3 to shoot for the Saints. Montejo fires. They'll get it back. Montejo again outside. Mandiria provided that pick. Montejo did not use it. And Mandiria saved it. But still, shot clock violation on their part.
So it's a Baker's dozen lead. Although it is a Baker's dozen lead for St. Clair, Cho, we can see some signs of life here for the Blazers. No?
40-27. Benilde now orchestrating offense. Balikig inside. Still won't work. Abad gets it back. Balikig again will try. Overcooks it.
And Coach Paulo Layug loves this matchup between Abad and Mandiria. No?
And because Abad is holding his own against the much bigger Mo Mandiria. Acosta rising up, hitting that 3. And the team captain of the Saint squad rising up to the occasion again. Abad, couple of fakes, but he won't score. For sure got bothered against the lanky hands of Mo Mandiria. Acosta again with the leather. Double team.
What's dangerous for St. Clair is that two-man game with Mandiria as the roller, as we see another one.
No one was there to pick up Clint Manzano
Yeah.
for his first bucket of the game.
Is this the biggest lead of the game at 18?
I think so.
Oh no, but Vanguardia wasn't looking, but luckily Hukom was able to pick up the basketball.
Off the back iron, that 3 ball for Hukom. And again, Hukom has done a lot in this game, but his teammates will have to aid him. St. Clair now searching for options. Mandiria backing down Christian Abad. Outside, Dumangkas for 3. Benilde trying to come up with something. Vanguardia. Balikig now at the logo. Balikig will attack, drops it off. Vanguardia, 2 points.
And you can see that even though St. Clair was about to threaten to break the game wide open, you could sense that St. Benilde is still keeping its track.
Stolen by Hukom. In transition, Podador rising up, scoring 2. So lead is trimmed down to 14. I believe still very manageable.
Yeah, it is.
As there's a foul on Hukom. Again, he has been holding off that injury for a while. As we turn it over to Andrea Veloso for a report.
Matthew Hukom is indeed playing through a hamstring injury, but he assured me at halftime that he's okay and can manage. Speaking of manageable, that's exactly how Coach Paulo Layug views this deficit, as long as they focus on what they can control. Coach Paulo emphasized cleaning up their transition defense and cutting down on those turnovers. He remains optimistic, urging his players to execute better and bring non-stop energy. And we will be back for more basketball updates.
Back to the action here at the Met Park Sports Center. Again, St. Clair holding on to this 14-point lead. But if you're the Blazers, again, nothing to worry about. This is very still manageable.
It is.
As we see in action once again, Ison and Kua. Acosta to Dumangkas for 3. He won't hit. Ortega grabs it.
What's scary about that two-man game involving Mandiria, it is because each time Mandiria is going to take a step, he's always about a step and a half away from his defender.
And again, that's the advantage Mo Mandiria has considering his length and height. As we're seeing a platoon substitution for Coach Ginino Manansala. And if you're Benilde, you have to be happy about that. Ison to Ortega, back to Ison. Podador for 3. Short. JB Lim back in the game. Up against Ortega, finds Salazar to the left side. Escobedo, he will hit from 3. So lead is up to 17 points now. Ison finds Podador. He won't use that Arsiaga pick.
Door shot down on him.
JB Lim inside of Denosta.
Oh.
Overpassing.
Yes. Couldn't take advantage of that 3-on-2 situation.
And again, some rookie mistakes, literally, for the side of the young Blazers. Ndsl inside the paint. Outside to Escobedo. Inside again to Leonard. He'll score 2 off the window.
Everybody's making a contribution here on the side of St. Clair, and that's the luxury Coach Janino Manansala had.
Lim,
Yeah.
2 points or 2 baskets in a row for the St. Clair Saints, as we'll take another look. Both from the fast break opportunities. But of course, first that short stab coming from Leonard Ndsl. And this second one for JB Lim, as we'll be back for more. Back to the action here. Again, quite a big deficit being faced by the young Benil Blazers. Ortega to the opposite side. It's Balikig. He'll try from downtown. He won't hit. Lim. Salazar now with a basketball. Putting on the moves against Ortega to JB Lim outside. And that hits nothing as the ball goes back to Benilde. So last 2 minutes in our third period. Hukom to Balikig at the corner. He will attack baseline. He is denied.
Big block there.
Lim, basket and one.
And Lim able to finish that. Even though he lost his footing, as we see some color developing there.
We'll take another look again. JB Lim. Talk about ball control. Chance to make it a 3-point play. So at the line, it's the sophomore JB Lim as he converts that one into a 3-point play. And more importantly, adding to the woes of the Benil Blazers.
And St. Clair is now taking the fight out of the Blazers this early.
Escobedo, nowhere to go. JB Lim resets the offense. Shot clock at 9. JB Lim.
Wow.
Underoos move.
Lim, of course, a heady play there.
57-31. A minute remaining in chapter 3. Ortega losing it again. A lot of sloppy turnovers for the Benil Blazers. Ndsl will get it back off a miss. Reyes, first bucket of the game.
On the other hand, St. Clair's shock troopers had been delivering so far.
Under 30 seconds remaining in Chapter 3. Arsiaga elbow jumper, money.
Jesse Arsiaga.
Shot clock is off. 12 seconds remaining. Lim with a basketball. Balikig on him. There's a foul downstairs. That's on Ralph Balikig.
A 26-point lead entering the fourth period. You might be wondering what's on the mind of Coach Paulo Layog now.
Another foul. That time around, Jesse Arsiaga getting called. Reyes denied by Hukom. And that does it for our first three quarters, 59-33. The Benil Blazers are facing a big deficit. And let's see if the St. Clair College of Caloocan Saints can advance to the finals. We'll be back for more. Back to the action here. This guy has been phenomenal for the St. Clair Saints. Talking about J.B. Lim, the sophomore point guard of this dynasty. As right now, it's quite a big lead for the St. Clair Saints. It looks like they won't send out their usual starters. But we are seeing a familiar face in Angelo Ibanez. Perhaps sporting an injury. So did not play initial and significant minutes. But it's going to be interesting what the Benil Blazers have in mind.
Of course, on the side of the Blazers, they need to forget about this huge deficit. All they have to do is treat it possession by possession.
That's going to be easier said than done for the young guns of Coach Paulo Layog, as Burgos will score. Hukom to Balikig. Back to Hukom for a three. Way short. Loyola now.
Oh,
Slips out of it.
losing his footing there.
Balikig again is seeing a lot of minutes in this game despite not scoring a bunch. Perhaps the main ball handler of the squad.
Coach Paulo Layog has entrusted the facilitating chores to Banikid more than Poblador. No, we haven't seen him much in the second half.
First one is good for Ralph Balikig. Yes, Harley Podador has been quite absent. (61-37). Abad losing that battle against Hardinico. Abad provided
Nice
that pick.
pass. But the Hukom found himself too deep under the basket and missed that shot.
Burgos hands it off. Ibanez. Hardinico will miss from 3. Ortega now running. Try to drop it inside. Stolen by Angelo Ibanez. He won't score 2, but his teammate Sean Bondoc was there.
It's a good thing that Bondoc was there for the transition help.
Forward pass. Bondoc against Balikig. He wins. And Coach Paulo Layug calling a timeout as they're down by a big 30 points. Another look on that Angelo Ibanez miss, but Sean Bondoc was there. And of course, another bucket. Still the same guy, Sean Bondoc, as we'll be back after this timeout. Back to the action here as we're taking a look at our official game ball of our NDSL basketball series. Spalding always building. Again, a 30-point lead for the St. Clair Saints in this one.
So far, Cho, that big run in the middle part of the third period had taken the fight out from this Blazers squad.
And again, that's usually one of the things young guns, tend to do. Lose the spirit, lose that fighting spirit when you're down by a bunch. As once again, this is a mental game already. But only 3 minutes passing by chapter 4. So let's see if Benilde can still go for one last push. St. Clair now with possession. Burgos. He will fade away. That's short. And you have to be happy seeing this young Blazer still running.
Yeah.
As Vanguardia scores on that fast break opportunity. And again, this is only our second game of the day. Still have 2 more. Our next game, another semifinals clash between San Beda and JRU. As Sean Bondoc will hit from downtown.
And this guy, Sean Bondoc, is beginning to take over in this game.
Much like how Ayo Castillo of EAC took over a while ago. Kua will try. Kua will hit.
Immediately, this guy, Kua, making his presence felt.
Yes, fresh off Xavier School. Actually, a lot of true rookies in this Benilde squad.
Oh, losing his footing there.
So Hukom checks back in. Balikig will call up a play for Benilde. But at this point, you know, it's going to be quite difficult for the young Blazers to come up with something. Balikig for 3. He'll hit. But you know, even if they lose this game, still a lot of bright spots, silver linings for the Benilde Blazers.
Yeah. A lot of promise in this team.
Well, first and foremost, we have the likes of Matthew Hukom showing what he can do. Christian Abad,
Yeah.
perhaps a project big for Benilde.
And we've seen another one. I think that is Ortega. No, then he's been more of a glue guy for the squad.
Indeed. We saw him hustle for the ball here and there. And of course, Ardi Bodador.
Yeah, so he's going to mature more as the days progress.
So certainly, again, perhaps a moral victory for Benilde. But that's gonna end, or it's gonna end their Ndsl basketball series campaign. As Kua will miss from downtown. Loyola to the cutting Hardinico, but he'll fumble that shot.
On the other hand, we're seeing St. Clair continuing the tradition of making it to the championship round.
They're no strangers when it comes to championship battles. As that's another fumbled shot from Burgos. We're seeing Coach Ginino Manansala complain. He's not happy with those misses. Hukom tried that no-look pass. Coach Paulo Layog not happy.
Blazers.
72-45.
Substitution.
Under 4 minutes remaining.
Richmond Dale placing Charles Burgos.
So Monteo is back in for St. Clair. And I think one more thing that we need to remember, of course, St. Clair definitely has more experience compared to this young Blazer squad.
Right. They've been practically joining practically every league in the Metropolis. This off-season leagues.
And of course, for St. Benilde, they carry the name St. Benilde. But that time, that's a block coming from Stephen Hardinico. And yes, again, these young guns carry the prestigious name of St. Benilde, but you know that's one thing that perhaps has given them pressure.
Yeah.
And of course, pressure without experience is a recipe for disaster.
St. Benilde, of course, is a different St. Benilde squad that started in the NCAA 2 decades ago. And this team has turned out to be a championship contender.
Indeed. So for sure, as long as they're associated with the name St. Benilde, we have to watch out for them. And of course, St. Clair are not a stranger to winning moments like these ones. Of course, we have to give them their flowers. And a lot of PBA players actually coming from the St. Clair College of Caloocan. One man that comes to mind is Aris Junicio.
Of course, Aris Junicio has been a staple in the St. Clair program
Yeah, he's the one I thought of because I believe he's the most recent one.
Yeah.
And of course, for St. Benilde, a lot of names. As we enter the last 2 minutes of this game. 75-48. Looks like St. Clair and Benilde will just play this one off. So St. Clair will face either the Heavy Bombers or the Red Lions in our championship round. So whoever they may face, that's going to be a tough situation nevertheless.
Yeah. I've seen a while ago, Coach Danny Ipondulan, who's on our right side, is now beginning to scout this St. Benilde Blazers team. But of course, he needs to get that job done later on.
That's going to be still a work in progress for St. Clair, as they may have won this game, but it's going to be a different day once our finals match comes around, as David Cruz gets two. Under a minute remaining in our game. And it should be a good one against Nubeda. They now have the likes of Dom Sarigumba, Daniel Marcelo. So make sure you stay around for that match. It's currently a 28-point lead for the Saints, as we have 32 seconds remaining. We're seeing for the first time in this game, it's Nicor and Romero. Another former LSJH greenie, talking about Rafa Romero. And Cruz will hit from downtown. That's 5 points for him so far. And looks like Coach Gino Manansala's boys will just dribble this one out, as they've secured a ticket to our Ndsl Basketball Series Finals and will face either the San Beda Red Lions or the JRU Heavy Bombers. That's yet to be determined in our next semifinals matchup. But for now, the dynasty, that is the St. Clair Saints, will go home with a semifinals victory.
Tradition lives on for St. Clair.
And our move of the game, it's no other than this one, a speed mismatch against Christian Abad. That is Steven Hardinico, showing some moves despite playing the big man position. You'll love to see it. Again, that is our move of the game. Our final score on your screen, 78-53. A dominating win for the Saints. As we take a look at our player of the game, it's no other than this guy, Sean Bondok. He was everywhere. And take note, he did not start this game. Off the bench, contributing big time
Until
for
he
the
started
Saints.
taking over. No?
Indeed. Magic Bunot, if I may say it. As we turn it over to Andrea Veloso for our player of the game interview.
Our best player of the game, none other than, yun nga, sabi nyo nga, Magic Bunot for this game. Sean Bondok of St. Clair Colleges. Congratulations, what a dominant win. What worked so well ngayong game?
Yun, pinagandaan lang din talaga namin yung game na to kasi yun, gusto talaga namin manalo kasi yung first season namin dito ay naudlot kami ng final. So yun, talagang every practice pinaghahandaan lang din talaga namin kasi lagi din kami minomotivate ng mga coaches namin.
Sean, pasok na nga kayo sa finals. Any message to the team?
Ngayon, mas pagigigihan pa namin siguro sa practice and mas gusto namin makuha yung champion ngayon para sa team namin and syempre sa mga boss namin and sa mga sumusuporta sa St. Clair and syempre para sa family ko rin.
Good luck, Sean. Baka may gusto kang pasalamatan.
Nagpapasalamat ako syempre kay Boss Monching, kay Boss Roel, kay Boss Jojo, kay Boss RCG and sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa St. Clair Saints and syempre kay Endong and sa family ko and syempre advance gift to para sa birthday ko tomorrow and yun lang.
Advance happy birthday, Sean, and congratulations. Good luck with the finals. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Andrea. That is once again Sean Bondok contributing big time to the semifinals win for the St. Clair College of Caloocan Saints. But up next, we have the San Beda Red Lions Marinerong Pilipino going up against the JRU Heavy Bombers, another semifinals matchup in the 25 and under division. Once again, this has been Chono Pangilinan, Ray Hoble, and Andrea Veloso from the sidelines. And this is the Ndsl Basketball Series.